All right, so before I touch segments, can I just indicate that the $6.7 billion that was quoted in the headline on that press release includes some of our instruments or disaster risk financing instruments that were in place. So the 6.7 is not all additional to what we already had in place. So approximately 3 billion of the six, no, that's not right. 3.6, right. Approximately 3.6 billion is proposed new loans to come from the named institutions. That's the CDB, the IDB, the IMF, World Bank, and CAF, for a total of approximately 3.6. They are also proposing to mobilize private investments to the tune of 2.4 billion. And that would represent the new amounts. The rest is our instruments.
The rest you had told us about at the last sitting of the PAAC.
Sorry?
The rest you had itemized at the last
Yes.
sitting of the PAAC.
Yes.
All right. So that the 0.7.
Yeah, the 0.7 was from the cat
Okay.
bond, the CREEF, the
All right. So if I can
contingency.
focus on the 2.4, could you explain what is meant by mobilizing investment? Is that a loan
Love is why you
coming to the government to unlend, or is that a loan directly to
Right, so
private sector?
That's would be primarily the IMF, the World Bank and the IDB, private sector arms, who generally mobilize money from the private sector in order to lend to the private sector of the country.
So is private to private.
Private to private.
So that 2.4 billion have not been secured.
No.
So what has been secured is the 3.6 billion and the money from the insurance.
In terms of on the government side, that is what is.
Okay, so the headline would have been misleading to say 6.7 billion secured.
You could say that.
Okay, so the 2.4 billion that is to be mobilized, is that dependent on the appetite of the private sector for borrowing?
All right, so I don't have all of those details, so
Okay.
I would not be able to address it.
All right, the 3.6 billion, do we know of the interest rate that is being applied to the 3.6 billion?
No, this is across four or five different institutions. So at this time, we would not be able to indicate.
Understood. The amount, the Minister of Finance suggested that some funds would have been secured on behalf of the JPS from these funds. Is that so, or am I misunderstood?
That's not a correct representation
Okay.
of what she indicated.
Can you clear that up for me, please?
She indicated that the multilaterals could now potentially loan JPS some funds, not that it had already been.
Oh, so the 2.4 billion JPS could apply if it so decides,
I don't know if it's in that 2.4 billion.
or any other funds that are available. Would therefore the JPS have to qualify under the terms that would have existed?
Cannot answer any of those detailed questions, sir.
I'm sorry. All right. Have you any information about the loan to JPS itself from the government, the 150 million or 23 billion Jamaican?
That negotiation is underway.
So that has not been closed as yet?
It's not closed.
And no interest rate or anything have been identified?
The minister did speak to something yesterday.
Can you remind me if you know what the interest rate is?
5.5.
5.5%. Okay.
Make sure
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Water. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for this Monday evening. Make this the 8th day of December. And some people want to call it the 8th day of Christmas. Welcome to Portland Spice TV. We're coming to you live from our studios located in Port Antonio, Portland, Jamaica, right here in the West Indies. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome. Happy to have you. Yesterday morning, we didn't do Talk Jamaica. This evening, we want to give you as much opportunity to hear your voice. A lot of things on the table. The Paul Buchanan case, the appeal has been denied. As far as we understand, we haven't gotten down into the details of it. But some people were totally misunderstanding the case. It was an appeal, and if Paul had won the appeal, then it would go back to the election court, the election petition court. So it would mean that the Prime Minister would have stepped down today. But it went the other way. It went in favor of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. So we don't know if that is going to be going any further. Right now, to me, it seems done and dusted. Chief Richard Curry of the Accompong Maroon has sent out a video saying to Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, that the militarization of Accompong would not be accepted. However, they will accept all the material and all the other stuff that the government had pledged to the Accompong people. We also saw, yes, Honorable Andrew Holness. Most honorable. We also saw where there was a demonstration up there in Accompong where people came out and they were saying that they want the soldiers. And a lot of other things. Yes, people were demonstrating that they want the soldiers to come and do the work. And if the soldiers can't come, the Prime Minister mustn't send anything. I tell you. That is why back in the days of slavery, you had people who did not want to run away because they were comfortable with what was happening on the plantation. So they were willing to stay. And some of them used to march with the English, go look for Maroon. But a lot of people don't remember that part of the history. When the English were hunting the Maroons, they used to carry the black slaves with them to hunt Maroon. Heard a man on a radio station today saying the Maroons were always enemy of Jamaica. I am proud to say that my bloodline is from the Maroon. All the Osborns up there in Moortown and the Downers, they are my family. So, Maroon strong in my blood. I was invited on the Straight Up Show on Newstalk 93 FM this morning. So I was a guest on Conrad O'Brien's show. And I came home, listened to the show on YouTube on the Conrad OB, the fireman, on Conrad the OB, the fireman channel at YouTube. And I heard Marlon Morgan telling a blatant lie on me. And even when Obi tried to stop this man was determined to tell a lie. But I have been saying to you all from the other day, and I have used the term recently, that truth and labor rights now have no lot nor part. I also went to over one little channel last night, came in off the road, and I was sitting on my balcony, scrolling through TikTok. And I see one little shaky man, very shaky, having a program, and they were talking some rubbish. So I said, let me go over there. But even when I got over there, my producer was very upset that I went over there. And I understand her vexation of going on that channel. When I went over there, it was about 38 persons watching. And by the time I spent 10, 15 minutes over there, I reached up to about 68. And when I came off and checked him back about 10 minutes after, I was back to 36. Anyway, they were saying that we are misleading people. So when I challenged them to tell me what is it that we have said that is misleading, you would be surprised to hear what they say. Them say, if PNP did win, no hurricane wouldn't come. So I said to them, yes, I said that, and that's my opinion. Them say me I mislead people. So me say, how is that? How me sharing my opinion misleading people? Well, if that is misleading, then the Prime Minister is also misleading the nation. And a lot of other labor rights by saying that if PNP did win, dog would have nyam with supper. Isn't that misleading too? Well, tell you what. I know that I have a right to my opinion. And some fool, boy, your name Samwise, you're so stupid. All him missy put it up. Same disappointed. And me have a new name, people. My name PNP Reject. That's what they love to call me. PNP Reject. Well, I am proud to have offered myself to be the standard bearer. Very proud. What have you offered yourself to do? They also say that I am unpatriotic. But me listen to them, me not challenge them much. Me tell them, say any question them have, me will answer. And I try to press for them to tell me what are the things that we are misleading the people with. The only thing they could say is that me say, if PNP did win, the hurricane would come. Them can't come up with nothing. Nothing. Now, let's go deal with Marlon, the Liard Morgan. You're not getting any sound. It look like you alone now get no sound though. Because everybody else is responding to the things that I am saying. Nice. You don't look like you have fit you. Oh, little finger. Everybody is responding to what I am saying. So maybe you need to remute. Talk about Mark Golding. So we have a fool in the chat room. Somebody said the sound is very crisp and clear. Thank you. So let's deal with Marlon the Liard Morgan. Marlon the Liard Morgan. I even sent it to him, I said, don't tell a lie for me. Let's listen to what Marlon said Me say first.
Complete. The answer to that is no, because contrary to what Colin is suggesting, that the authorities could go to a place like Melia or Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium where they have everybody in one place and just do the assessment. The assessment is not
No,
just the interview.
but you're spreading forward. Hold on. I host the program here, Marlon, so you're not going to call on Bob Brief. Colin said absolutely nothing of the sort. He asked a question.
I was listening to the discussion a while ago. He asked a question, and then he went on to indicate that if the government had people in a consolidated space, it would make the impact assessment in terms of gleaning information from people easier. Now, that may well be so, but the substantive point...
Because it's an opportunity that the government miss and continue to have... Hold on. Because it's an opportunity that the government miss and continue to have the people.
You don't even understand the point I'm going on.
I am saying...
In the next 10 seconds, in the next 10 seconds, I'm going on to complete the point I make as well.
Go ahead.
What the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is doing through its JAH Dynaform, which is the Jamaica Household Damage Impact and Needs Assessment Form, what they're doing is not only collecting data, sir, they are verifying information in terms of households. So people will show them, I have some house did there, I have some where live, and see the sir, it mash up, see the sir, this blow, see the sheet, I think them say, sir, and see the lumber, sir, and other people can verify the information.
So as a result of that,
Charmian, the single mother with 3 children who lived at this place where
Marlon.
And yesterday we live.
Yes, Marlon, hold on, fine. And I'm going to leave it now. But let me ask you a question. As a result of that, it is okay in your mind for the government not to move with any form of alacrity and still have young... Hold on, please. And still have young children, mothers, elderly, and so on out there to the winds and fancy of the winds and fancy of the elements, and those who are in and those who are in shelters, they are basically asked to be removed unceremoniously and fined. Family member for go stay with who their family members as well have basically been discombobulated. The government has fallen down on the job 5 going 6 weeks after Hurricane
You asserted a while ago that the government has not been moving with alacrity, and nothing could be further from the truth, because the post-Hurricane Melissa response, Mr. O'Brien, has a number of phases, some of which overlap. What do I mean by that? A, you treat with immediate relief.
So, you heard the man say, me say, that we should have put the people in a Bracco and Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium, and we would be able to do the assessment. As Obi correctly stated, I said no such thing. Nothing like that. So, I just want to play about the first part, because that's the substantive part.
Complete. The answer to that is no, because contrary to what Colin is suggesting, that the authorities could go to a place like Melia or Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium where they have everybody in one place and just do the assessment. The assessment is not just the interview.
All right. So I said nothing like that. Here is what I said, both about the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium. The Malay I hear him talking about, that's what I call Bracco Village. That's the original name, right? So I'm going to play what I said in the interview about the stadium and Malaya, and also what I said about the assessment, because I've been telling you here that the government is a joke government. Lack of vision. And to date, as you hear, answer, they have not done the assessment of the people who got damage after 6 weeks. Full rubbish. But listen to what I said.
They are going to put in these container houses for temporary now. Put them at the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium. Put them at Bracco and build the house within 2 to 3 months. Because we have spent to put them in a container house for 2 years. No make no sense. You have to forget them after.
Good.
So don't do it. Don't waste the money. put them, or you have places can put them. These places that I just mentioned, they are both owned by the government of Jamaica. So those people who are still in shelters will have nowhere to go. Trelawny Multipurpose Stadium, Bracco Village.
Absolutely, Colin. And as we close, you know, this morning in my Conrad's take, I don't know if you listened to me, and I was saying that the voice of Portia Simpson Miller, Portia Lucretia Simpson, the most honorable former Prime Minister of Jamaica, was ricocheting in my head all weekend. And those two words were wicked and uncaring. I'm saying that is how Portia would be describing the situation so far, Colin. Can you imagine?
Yes.
After 6 weeks, we have not seen any semblance of the government moving in any shape or form.
One of the questions, there are two questions I'd love to ask the government. How many people you put shelter over them heads since this thing started? And when I talk about this, the hurricane shelter, I talk about how much people you put a roof over them heads since the hurricane, and how many portable water stations have you set up?
Good.
Over the last period of time.
Absolutely, Colin. And, you know, this morning while driving to Broadcast House here as well, I got a call. And the person said to me that I should shed some light on it. And I may have to talk to the general manager at Mandeville Regional Hospital, Mr. Miller, because we understand that that's one of the hospital that they're saying that the people need to go home and people need to come for them, except it's going to be a police matter. There's one individual, understand, a gentleman who had an amputation. Gather he has a 9-year-old daughter, and his house have been destroyed. I am saying that the government should probably go into the hospitals, do a audit, find out who were there in the hospital that their houses have been damaged, use the resources of the army that they were sending to a compound that Curry is saying that they don't need it, and start the rehabilitation of those houses that can be. Is that a reasonable suggestion, Colin?
Very reasonable. The other question we must ask the government: has the data collection been complete?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the government not complete the data collection yet, it shows again that they are moving very slow. I spoke to some people from Westmoreland last Wednesday, and they told us live on the air that nobody has reached to them yet to collect their data. So, you know, 6 weeks after the hurricane, you know, finish collecting the data, it should be. You see, the government need to understand to use mass labor. Employ 2,000 people, put them in the area, done collect that in 7 days. 7 days you should take to collect all the data. Or 98% of it should be collected by that.
Colin, listen, the situation is still dire. There's a lady, she's listening to me right now.
So there you go. You hear what I said about the data collection. It's something that I have been consistent with. I have been saying this from about the 3rd week after the hurricane, that the government should bring the teachers in that are displaced, teachers who teach at schools that have been destroyed or damaged, not open. All those teachers, people from the hotel industry, people from the call centers. And I had used the figure from even then. Put 2,000 people out there. And within 7 days, they could have finished the data collection. Same way. Take pictures, name, number, how many people live in the household, how many under the age of 12, how many over the age of 60, if anybody in there with disability. All that should have been done already. And the fact that that have not been done, Marlon, go sit down. Sit down. Gonna waste people. Lack vision. 6 weeks after the hurricane, you have not finished collecting the data? Oh, come on. I'm not patting myself on the back about now. Do well in a full book. Do well in a phone book. You forget that there was a saying that said, there is a saying that says self-praise is no recommendation. The government is praising themselves, walk around, puffing up their chests and talking about them do well, while admitting that for the first couple of days they were fumbling. You're still fumbling. How can you have half of the country when a really damaged bad? Yeah? And then you have so many people down the west who lose them work, and you lost an opportunity to put money in them pocket. You should have get them out there. 2,000 of them. Put them in the communities. Do the assessment. And that's why the government can't move. Because to date, the government has not completed the assessment of how many people get damaged, what level of damage. Not a set of jokers. But I understand, because if you can't listen a radio show, if you can't listen a radio show and get it accurate, then how you deal with complex situation. Now I understand why you can't deal with the aftermath of the hurricane. Poor incompetence. And all when Obia tried tell him, say I know that me say, he wants to push his narrative in a digital age, Marlon Morgan. I'm so disappointed with you. Disappointed. So, you heard it. Him said, the assessment has not been completed. But I'm sorry, Obi never asked him what percent they are. That's why I'm not calling me, you know. He might run up and down over Obi, I call me name. Me hear him over Simon Crosskill, I call me name. Call me. Let me ask you some tough questions. Some very simple questions. I want to ask you. Very simple. Why is the assessment not complete? How many water stations have the government put in place since the hurricane? I want to ask you that. How much people want to put roof over them head since the hurricane? You're not ready. And the minute you stop praising yourself and recognize that there are people out there suffering, people with nowhere to live, then you might start do the work. Blowing on your own trumpet. Why you can't make somebody praise, you know? You so want praise till you can't wait for even phone people them for say you not do well. You not ready. You not ready at all. You not ready. You go up on the show and you start say what me say, and the man I tell you say, I know that me say. The man I tell you, you know. I know that the man said no such thing. And you tell the man say you did not listen. Well, you maybe did listen, but you never hear. Because you don't have enough phone head already. What you don't want to hear. You don't have enough phone head, but people are spread misinformation. I heard you in the Senate on Friday telling lies. Lambert Brown had to take you to school talking about fiscal discipline start under Bruce Golding. That was the time when we got expelled from the multilaterals. You need to tell your party leader that, because him not understand either. That was the only time we couldn't go to the multilaterals.
Contrary to what Colin is suggesting, that the authorities could go to a place like Melia or Trelawny Multipurpose Stadium where they have everybody in one place and just do the assessment. The assessment is not
no,
just
but you're spreading forward. No, hold on. I host the program here, Marlon. So you're not.
Hold on there, Obi. You hear arrogance? You hear arrogance personified? Eh? Wrong and strong. Me say, the people them were still in the shelter. You must take them out of the shelters. Take them out of the schoolroom. Carry them to Braco village where you call Melia. Put the elders and the single mothers with children at Melia. Put the other people them at the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium. Retrofit it. Put them in there. And those people that you are housing that way, you build them house first. That's what me say. But you can't, I know that you want to hear. You can't find nothing for jump on, so not ready to tell peer lie. Listen him again.
Complete. The answer to that is no. Because contrary to what Colin is suggesting, that the authorities could go to a place like Melia or Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium where they have everybody in one place and just do the assessment.
Me never said that.
No, but you're spreading forward. No, hold on.
Never said that, Marlon Morgan. You hear what me say? Listen.
I'm going to put in these container house for temporary now.
So me say the people them won't go put in a container house. No buy none. Don't buy no container house. I want a friend them who don't want to get rich. Who not get to import the container house. A scrape who no plan for scrape like on a scrape off of the bus them. Rob who not plan for rob the country. That's what I am saying. So no need to go buy no container house and squander foreign exchange. Because this is a government of squander. Squander will continue to squander taxpayers' money. This government. And challenge me upon that. Anybody want to come? I can show you the billions, hundreds of billions have been squandered by the Andrew Holness-led administration. Hundreds of billions. I hope I am this. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome.
There's a matter I want to discuss with you, and that is topical in the news media now, and that is the issue of Chief Curry not accepting the aid from the government by way of the Jamaica Defense Force.
And that's hold on, and that's not a correct statement. Hold on, caller.
Yes.
That is not a correct statement you have made.
Could you let me finish my answer?
No. You said that the chief did not accept the aid from the government. That is not true.
No, that's not what I said. I said the nature. I said the nature of my discussion is concerning the chief rejecting the offer to have the JDF.
No, that is a correct statement. That's not what you said first. But this now what you said is correct. Yeah, what you are saying now is correct. Yeah, continue.
All right, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
All right. So, on what basis the Chief Curry or the Maroons from Akompong are making it abundantly clear that a harm of the state is not permitted to be on a property in Jamaica? What's the legal basis for that?
He has not said that he did not say that they are not permitted. That's not what the chief said. The Prime Minister went down to Akompong, made an offer of material and other stuff, and also offered that the JDF would come in to help to construct or reconstruct some of the roofs. Chief Curry is saying that we will accept all the other stuff, but we don't need the JDF. We have the manpower, can do the work. That's my understanding.
All right. I saw where there is a divide where some people are saying they need the help, and some and as a result, it begs the question: why? What is the reason why the council, as Chief Corey stated in his video,
Yes.
is not keen on having the JDF there?
All right. I don't know how much you know about the Maroon history and how much you understand the Maroons. Now, let me make it clear that I don't see Accompong as a sovereign state in Jamaica. I don't. So let me make that clear. However, the Maroons have a special place in our history as an indigenous people, as people who fought for our freedom and people who resist slavery. Yeah? Like I told Conrad today, and I think I said it on Saturday, that the Maroons were never slaves, because slavery is also a state of mind. And from the Maroons were brought here, they never intend to be slaves. They never had it in their minds that they were slaves. So therefore, as the first chance them get to take with themselves off of the plantation, that is what they did. Now, with the Maroons, and remember this, the Maroons are the only persons in Jamaica who got reparation from the English. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not aware of that. What I'm aware of is the Maroons who signed a treaty to recapture slaves to return them back to the British.
Return them back is the same, to return them to the British.
Well,
So,
I stand correct.
When you say return back is you call it.
I stand correct.
You're repeating yourself.
Correct.
Anyway,
Yes, I stand corrected.
Anyway, now when you are in a war with somebody and you decide to call off the war and have a peace treaty, wouldn't it be fair to say that each side have to get something?
All right, let me
ask you a question. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, but it's a treaty. Now, bear this in mind. The Maroons were coming from a place where they saw themselves as being slaves.
No,
and now they get an opportunity.
We never see ourselves as being a slave.
And I'm saying that was the situation. That was the situation with the Maroons.
No.
The Maroons were slaves.
The Maroons were enslaved.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's a difference in that from being a slave. Because when you're when you accept that you're a slave, that is when you're a slave because you're mine. That's why Bob said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, because a lot of Jamaicans right now, as we speak, are still slaves. The Maroons were never slaves.
The Maroons, if you look at the history, the Maroons were slaves.
No,
There's
sir.
No question about that.
No,
There's
sir.
Semantics about that.
No, sir.
The Maroons were slaves.
No,
However, after the Maroons broke away, the Maroons then signed a treaty with the government.
It's not just after the breakaway.
With the British.
It's not just after the breakaway, you know. It was after war and rumors of war.
Yeah, whatever it was. But they
but
were
you see, caller, but you see, we are in a public space. And we can't make it sound like as the Maroons ran away, they signed a peace treaty. I never saw it. A whole heap of war they fought. They fought wars. Whole heap of English lost life. Whole heap of Maroon lost life. And there was a treaty. In fact, they were treaty down the side when Nanny never agreed. Nanny I tell them not to sign it. And there was I think the last treaty was signed in Breastwork right here in Port Antonio.
The long and short of it, the long and short of it, Mr. Bell, the Maroons were a bunch of traitors. That's the long and short.
I don't accept that.
And that's okay. We can disagree on that. But I am going back to the situation with Mr. Corey. I'm going back to the situation with Mr. Curry. The fact that Mr. Curry has aligned himself with the People's National Party, the fact that Mr. Curry has presented himself or present the notion that the Maroon, Akompong, is a sovereign state within Jamaica.
And as I said earlier, I don't agree with that.
I know, but I'm saying that's the posture he presents. No, I'm asking the question: I'm asking the question, sir. Should the government forcefully make by having a dialogue with Mr. I am for dialogue. Having a dialogue with Mr. Curry, and let Mr. Curry know that his posture as it relates to him, presenting the image that the Maroons are beyond reach of the Jamaican government. Should the government take action to make Mr. Curry know that the Maroons are a part of Jamaica and the government of Jamaica, they must be subject to the constitution of the government of Jamaica?
Are you aware that the Maroons in Akompong, the Maroons in Moortown, I'm not sure about Charlestown, that they don't pay taxes? Land taxes, are you aware of that?
I understand that. The point I'm making to you,
no, man, just slow down, man. So if I am at a position where I am exempt from paying land taxes, property taxes in the country, wouldn't that say to you that I have some autonomy over my area that I don't pay tax for?
In other words,
hello?
The other, yes, I can hardly hear you. You're breaking up sometimes. But the other terminology for what you're saying is they are a sovereign state.
No, I am not saying they are a sovereign state.
Yeah, but you're saying they don't pay tax to the government.
They don't.
They're not aligned to the government.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Just understand me. Me could take time. But I have to go fast. We're in a rush because this is something that the people need to understand. Maroons, as I said earlier, got reparation from the English. They got land. That treaty that you speak about, the Maroons got land. So the Maroons got something, the English got something. At the end of the war, when the treaty was signed, we are going to stop fighting. I will give you land. This part of the land is yours. Don't come down on my side, come burn down my field no more. And if you see my people them run away, return them. That is
in other words, if you see your fellow slaves run away, bring them back.
The Maroons were never slaves. And that is what you need to understand first before you understand the Maroons.
Sir, I am suggesting to you, the Maroons were subjected to slavery.
That's what I said earlier. They were enslaved.
Right. Don't think they were subject to slavery. They were slaves.
No, listen. If a man force you, stick you up at gunpoint, and make you take cocaine to save your life, would it be fair for somebody to say that you are a coke, you're a drug addict, you're a druggist? Would that be fair?
I don't see the correlation here. But,
what I'm saying to you, there were some black. Then let me explain it. There were some black people who were captured in Africa, brought to Jamaica to be slaves. They never accepted the position as slaves, and therefore the first chance them get for runway, them runway. In fact, history would have it that Nanny runway off of the ship. Nanny never ever touch a plantation. When the ship came to Jamaica, the history tell you that some of them runway same day. And that's why I'm telling Jamaica that the Maroons were enslaved. They were never slaves. Slavery is a state of mind. And that is why the great Robert Nesta Marley still tells Jamaicans, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind, because there are still Jamaicans right now who are slaves. Bossy slave, slave.
I want to get back to the point. I want to get back to the point.
I'm giving you another minute. Go ahead.
I want to get back to the point. Should the government take serious action against Mr. Curry for behaving in such a way as to lead people to believe that the Maroon community is a sovereign community within Jamaica?
Did Curry say that in this dispensation? The Prime Minister made an offer and Curry said, I will take X, but I don't want Y. What is wrong with that?
So should
Huh?
So for the people now who are saying they need help, should the government go in and help them?
What the government should do, in my view, is give the material, because what Curry said, we have the manpower. What we don't have is the material. So give it the material and we have the manpower to do the work. There are other places in Jamaica right now when a soldier not there help the people them who need help. What Curry is saying, send the soldier them at them place that them not have the manpower, them not have the capacity. So what Curry is doing is freeing up some of the country's resources that was offered to him. Him say, give me the material. We don't have material. We want material, but we have manpower.
I believe if the government allow, I believe if the government allow Mr. Curry to pastor in that way, the government is setting up a precedent, and Mr. Curry should be held. Mr. Curry should be held responsible
for what?
For that question.
For what?
I believe the government should take. I believe the government should take strong action against Mr. Curry for even suggest that the Jamaica Defense Force is not supposed to be on the premises here. Mr. Curry has no such right.
Did Curry say that?
Such authority. And
did Curry say that?
He said, Mr. Curry said.
Anyway, we'll take some more, Carl. The video is there. Go back and listen to the video.
I have listened to it several times.
All right, my brother. Give thanks. We have to take some more, Carl. 14 minutes may have your hand for. Bless up. 876-804-7072. A whole heap of people been calling. Let me say this. If somebody offer you something and you say, me want that party and me no want that party, are disrespect? Or me have need for this, but me no need that? Go ahead, caller.
Colin?
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Good night to you and your listeners.
Yes.
This is specifically for the gentleman that just came off the phone.
Yeah.
Him sound like an elder man, but sir, you were born a free man, and you have willingly locked yourself, your mind and your body in chains. You were born a free man. Release yourself from the bondage that you have placed yourself in. Because if it's up to you, we would have still be asleep up to today.
But maybe he is.
Did the right thing and
hello, hold on.
For our freedom.
Hello, you know say man is still slave.
Exactly. Your poor parents did the same thing. They got up and they fought for our freedom, and you were born a free man. Why are you willingly enslaving yourself, your mind and your body? You're willingly putting chains on yourself. Yeah. Right? You know who he remind me of? Right here, please. You know who he remind me of? Harriet Tubman husband.
Who that?
I gave you. Harriet Tubman husband.
Talk to me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, man. Harriet Tubman. When I gave you 50. Harriet Tubman husband. She left. She escaped and she went and freed herself. Yeah. And then when she came back for him, he said he's not going.
Oh, yes.
He said, nah, go. He find a new woman and say, nah, go. Him remind me of that man. And there are so many of us today that have that same mentality. And that is why we're in the position that we're in.
Yeah,
and
man.
Thank God, our foreparents had the balls to get up and fight to free us. Can you imagine this man was born free and him continue to enslave him own self?
Caller.
Him are the same type. Hold on. Run go tell the Macra master them say the people them try to escape.
There's a thing that I have been saying here for quite some time. That if we were if we were enslaved today, we would never be free.
We would never be free
We would
because
never
of people like him
be
and the
free.
mentality, in mindset we have. He willingly lock up himself in a chain and want everybody to chain up themselves with him.
Yeah,
and when
man.
people start to free them own self, they have a problem. If they were the ones who were supposed to free we, would have they in a chain, seeing we across the sea.
The last time
People like them.
The last time I planned to go down our west go help some people, Carla. When I spoke to Miranda said, Colin, we don't want no food. We want water, solar light, and tarpaulin. I disrespect that?
No.
She said we don't want no
The-
food.
the-
and the food
No,
we want.
the food aspect
So
of
what-
it is done.
What Corey is saying that we don't want manpower. We want material. We have the manpower
Colin-
here to do the work.
And well-thinking Jamaican would have known that the Maroons are self-sufficient people. They are self-sufficient people. But this man, I don't know what his mental state is or what his thinking is, but it's obvious that he's still a slave.
Later.
It's obvious that he's still a slave.
Thanks, Carla.
Good night.
Blessings. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no Chris.
Where are you, Colin?
You know, you have some man, you know. We live a house with them woman. And then call next man for come chop up wood for make them fire. For make fire for the woman cook, you know. Me say, Chris,
Colin.
you have some man will live a yard with the woman. And then call next man from out the door for come chop up wood for make fire for the woman cook. Talk to me, Chris.
Colin, you keep making a point and him seems not to be able to grasp it. There's a difference between enslavement and being a slave.
Yes.
An enslaved person is not necessarily a slave.
No.
And a physical enslavement is not the same as mental enslavement. And believe you me, Colin, we have seen in this country a whole heap of black people that used to go and tell the slave master, say, hey, listen, them going to plan a revolt.
Yes,
So
man.
a lot of these things were squashed even before they started because you have the house slave who always rat out the field slave, as Malcolm X said.
I give you a joke, Chris. I used to work for a company named Wilson's Enterprise, Satcom Cable. A lot of people would know it. And when Satcom Cable was the only cable company in Portland, in Port Antonio, actually. And one of the time, everybody quarrel about the pay. So me call a brethren and say, all right, we need a union. And the whole of our work with the company agree, say, we are going to get a union to come in. And the morning when the union for come, the boss call we up, you know, and ask about it. You know what happened, Steve? One of the workers go squeeze and tell the boss, you know.
Yeah, man. It's a regular thing that Colin amongst us because this is why we struggle so much in the pyramid. We're at the bottom because everybody can come and divide us. But Colin, what I wanted to say is that Andrew Holness is the one who turned that relationship between Corey toxic. If you remember, he tried to go in forcefully into the Dranko Mountain and Corey pushed back on him. And after that, he had this confrontational relationship with this man.
And called
was
meetings.
determined to break him.
I remember saying called meetings with the other Maroon chief them and did not invite Corey.
Exactly,
you remember
because
that?
he wanted access to mine. And that man stood up to him and saved the water
mining
table
in
for
the cockpit
Jamaicans.
country. Yes.
Yes, that's where. And why would I let a man like that bring security forces on my land, knowing that him have an animus towards me and my people? I wouldn't trust him either.
For sure, I said the caller now understand because what I was trying to explain. Maroons don't pay property tax in Jamaica. The Moortown people don't pay property tax because those lands were given to them by the English. That is what they got out of the treaty. That is reparation, land reparation. The Maroons got that. So they must have a little autonomy over the place where them there.
Of course, but listen, if you have to go back to the genesis of why Corey don't trust Holness. He doesn't trust Holness because Holness was the one who inflamed this whole thing. And I wouldn't trust him either if I was Corey. The man is, he has an underhanded way to do things. You know, you cannot trust him. So Curry have a right to say, if you want to give us the material, we'll accept it, but we don't necessarily want the army on the land. It's a backdoor deal him want with the man to come in and usurp the man rule.
But Chris,
you know,
if you offer me something, I have a right to refuse or to accept. I also have the right to accept what part I need and what part I don't need. And if you're offering me something that I don't need that other people need, why should I take it?
Exactly, and if him don't want to offer any part of it, him can go about him business and leave the people them alone. He's the one, as I keep going back to this whole thing, that started this conflict with these people. That wasn't necessary.
Exactly. Sir.
Okay? So that's why the guy is suspicious. So I think Curry is just suspicious of his motive. That's
of course.
And that's natural.
Of course. Of course. And if you don't need the army, why you should accept them? Laziness for stop. The man said we have people here that can do the work. We need the material, but we don't need the manpower.
By the way, Colin, if he does that, him taking food out of him own people mouth, he need the job. So why would he bring in the army to do it free when him can take the thing and create jobs up there for him people? That is crazy.
Little more, Chris. Thanks for the call.
All right, my friend. Yeah.
876-804-7072. Good evening.
Hey, Colin, evening.
Marshy.
Yes, evening.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something. The Maroon land, what did the British give them?
Hold on, Marshy. 876-804-7072. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Colin.
All the line are coming back to you. Marshy.
Yes.
The Maroons got their lands from the English, and that is why they do not pay property taxes.
Exactly. But the quick question I want to ask you, can Andrew Holness send in him and them go and take away those land?
Yes, him can send them. Badness.
But what will the British do?
Well, that would be yet to see.
Well, that's what I like to see that. No, the caller before the last caller.
Yes.
Let me tell you, if you have the domino in your hand and you refuse to play the domino, you take pass. You know what them call it, sir? Compulsory pass.
Yes.
And you have the domino in your hand and people around the board are watching and say, see, have the domino they play that you refuse to play, you take compulsory pass.
So you are cool the game.
Right. So the caller we are talking a while ago, you can know it's a labor right. Nothing wrong being a labor right. But
no, I don't know if I'm a labor right.
No, for you to be a good labor right, you have to be a dunce.
And
that's why it's compulsory dunce, you call it. Because when you point out the thing to him can't see it. Compulsory dunce.
Him don't want to see it, brother.
Yeah,
him don't want to see it. Thank you, Marshy.
Good.
876-804-7072. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show, where we speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. Talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I just want to point out a thing about the tax situation people are referred to. The Maroons are not paying taxes because they are not subjects. They are not subjects of the crown.
Hold on there, caller. Hold on. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Big up yourself, Colin.
Hold on. May I come back to you? Yes, brother. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, they are not subjects of the crown. Andrew Holness is a subject of the crown. We, by default, are subjects of the crown. They are not subjects of the crown. So certain things don't apply to them. It only applies to the people that are subjects of the crown.
The Maroon colonels, you see, have standing. The Maroon colonels have standing. And that's why Andrew Holness met with some of them and did not invite Curry. The Maroon colonels are voted for. They are elected by the Maroon people.
Yeah, and Mr. Curry is not making decisions by himself. He's not that type of party, but you know, people feel like they are subjected to the things we are subjected to. They are not, because they are not under the crown. We are. We have a king. They don't have a king.
Somebody is saying that the Maroon is like the native Indians in Canada and also America.
I I don't know about that, but we know the situation in Jamaica. The head of state is the monarch. For Andrew Holness to make a law, it have to go to the Governor General, and the Governor General has to bring that to the Crown.
Yeah.
We as Jamaicans don't really petition the king, so we don't really know where he stands other than them still kind of deal with we like a pirate colony, like them, you know, them kind of, the way how the government found it down here, you know, it's like a Captain Morgan thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's all these loopholes for them to be criminal. I remember, you know, when the Crown had it, this was the pirates' paradise. This was like a pirate island.
It
you
was.
know, so I don't know, but I just pointing out that fact that they are not subjects of the Crown.
All
Like
right.
the PNP and the JLP, the official title for them for the PNP is His Majesty's Loyal Opposition People's National Party.
Yes.
Jamaica Labour Party is His Majesty's Loyal Government, the Jamaican Labour Party.
CM sir.
Or His Majesty's Government.
CM sir.
They just can't take Crown land. You will never find them disrespecting the Crown. When people think the government sell beaches, no, the beaches are Crown land. I think it's leased, but they cannot touch Crown land. The Crown still has us away. Like you're telling them they enslaved. But no people know and believe that. Them still say we really have our independence when we don't.
The Maroons were never slaves, my brother. Thanks for the call,
No, they
though.
were
Yeah?
never slaves.
Thank
they
you.
were never slaves.
Thank
They
you.
were never slaves. All right, brother, big up yourself.
Blessings. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. Good evening.
Big up yourself, Colin. I have 2 questions and 2 comments.
Go right ahead.
All right, so the first question is, I want the people, like the caller who called, the first caller, the gentleman.
Yes.
I want to ask him if he ever see slave anywhere assigned no contract with no colonial master.
The Maroons. Listen, history tells us that the day did ship land at Jamaica, Nanny Runway. Yeah?
Right. And slaves cannot sign contract. Nobody can.
Hold on.
You're not going to no contract with no slaves.
Don't move, caller. Hold on for me. Hold on. Hello, good evening.
Hello, my back.
Hold the line. I'm coming back to you.
Right. So whether you term it contract or treaty,
Yes.
a slave cannot enter into those kind of negotiations.
Not at all.
And that resulted in what it resulted in. And the second question is, as it relates to Curry wanting the aid and not the military support, what if America were to say to Jamaica, we're sending you all this aid, we are sending army too? Would we agree with that?
Yes, we would.
Well, most of them would. The one them who oppose Curry said they would.
Yeah, man. And members of the American Armed Forces are here. But the government could refuse. Guyana said to us that we're sending some members of our armed force to help put on some roof. The government could have said, nah, man, it's all right. We have manpower, send the material.
Good.
But the government choose to accept. So Curry is saying to the government, send the army somewhere else. We have manpower up here, send the material, come, we accept the material, and we put on the roofs.
Right, but at the end of the day, my point is this. If we find, so for example, America wants to invade or take over Jamaica, and now we find ourselves in this position where we need assistance, we would tell them send the aid and keep the military.
That is right.
We would do that.
All right,
because we don't
caller.
want them to take us over. And the comment that I have is this. The Maroons, for the people who are not so sure, the Maroons are recognized worldwide as people with rights to govern their own internal affairs. That is my point 1. And point 2, the Maroons were granted specific parcels of land for their exclusive use.
Thank you. Yes.
And I believe those are words from the treaty, or you can find them in the treaty if you look.
I
People
think so
just
too.
need to Google these things.
Yeah, man. All right.
All right,
Thank
big
you.
up
Yeah?
yourself.
Blessings. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. We're live.
Thanks for Virgin.
Yeah, man. Talk to me.
I agree with Mr. Curry, you know.
Yes, man.
Yeah, Andrew, I try to move in. Like, Andrew, I take away the Maroon them land.
Yeah, man. A style him I use. I go bring in the military if we go spy upon the man them, see what is going on up there what they're doing, see which part of the weed are plant. As the caller say a while ago, the lands are for specific use by the Maroons. Hold on for me. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
Hold the line. I'm coming back to you. Yes, my brethren.
Yeah, so any government, any government of Jamaica, I'm going to disturb the people, them land, a war, that's it. They must stir up.
Yeah, man. You see, long time Andrew want get in a hand up a compound there because him not like Curry. Him don't like Curry. And as I hear the first caller say, Curry has aligned himself with the PNP. There are two sides in Jamaica, the PNP and the GLP. And if the PNP ignore you and shun you, then which part else you are lead to?
I hear my talk, I take a big government, I mean my labor right.
Well, me now class him as the labor right, but all I'm saying is that the fact that him say Curry align himself with the PNP, it is within Curry's right to align himself with whichever party. That's why the court threw out the interdiction that them had against Andre Dixon. Because the man run for PNP, them want interdict him. No go so. Freedom to choose your political side. Freedom of speech. Freedom of association.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. If I wasn't for the Maroon Jamaica, I wouldn't free.
You better know. Better know that. You better know that.
Yeah, but you're saying to them, tell Marcus Garvey for rice and peas.
What you mean? What you mean?
Well, them set up the people who are coward, how fight to them right. You can see it and manifest right, you know. Them are them people who are fight against the Maroon. Them are the slave one, them take anything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right, this government has slave them, and them not see it.
That's why Bob sing the song, man. You hear Bob say? Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. That is when you become a slave, When in your mind, you accept it. When in your mind, you conform to it. Yeah? The Maroons never conform to slavery. Never accept it. People call them runaway slaves. They are not runaway slaves.
No.
There are people who never decided to be slaves. The slave master intended on enslaving them.
The real Maroon, I have the guts to fight and fight for your right.
All right, sir. Big up.
You understand? The rest of them, are coward,
Yes, man. Major cowards, them.
And them are sell out.
Coward like dog.
Yeah, but yeah, some of them say, if British should have rule all now.
Yes, man. Me hear that from Jamaica. And Alpha Radio then can say that. So we should have still under British rule.
Them
and that is why the GLP don't want to give up the Privy Council.
Right.
Bless up, my brother. One love.
Big up yourself, brother.
Leave it right there. 876-804-7072. Good evening.
Good evening.
We're going to talk to Conrad O'Brien, Littlemore. Talk to me. Turn off the instrument in the background. Yeah, man, you're live, but if you listen to the TV, it's going to show you off. Go ahead now.
Yeah, we just pause it still.
Yeah, man.
But just want to show some information out there where maybe agreeing to some stuff where maybe the factual. Me a man just said a while ago, if it was for the Maroons, we wouldn't free.
Yeah.
That's a misinformation. If you inform the caller them, brother.
So, where you say the Maroons have nothing to do with the freedom?
That's a question. In the contract that the Maroons signed with the British, what was included in that contract?
One of the things that was, I'll tell you two things. The Maroon get some land, and the Maroon was also supposed to return slaves that are running away from the plantation.
Yes, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So how that help free we?
How much?
Hold on now.
How much plantation?
Come from our side. Come on, man. You need to educate the caller them.
No, man. We are going to educate you this evening. How much people did
You
the
can't
Maroon?
educate me.
How much
I'm
people
more
did the
educated than
Maroon?
you are. You
Oh.
can't educate me about nothing.
How much people
First
did
of
the
all,
Maroon return?
Oh, first of all,
No,
how
man.
far
May I ask
the
you
history
a
of the Maroon
question?
go?
May I
How
ask?
far back you can go with the history of the Maroon?
May I ask you a
How far back
question?
you can go with
May
the
I
history of the Maroon?
may I ask you a question? How many slaves did the
Go
Maroons
ahead, sir.
return?
You had the figure there? You know?
May I ask you? Because that's where you
All right,
come.
me ask
That is
question.
what you come.
You ever hear about the Taki Rebellion?
Me
You ever
say,
hear about the Taki Rebellion?
yes.
I don't have that figure, and you need to have that figure, so that question is moot.
New to you.
Moot, give me the figure. Let me have the figure. Let's hear the figure. The
12.
figure. Yeah, I'm waiting to hear the figure.
12. 1 dozen.
12. Where you getting from me?
1 dozen.
I thought, listen.
How many
is
plantations
a
did the
lie.
how many plantations did the Maroon burn? How many plantations did the
Several.
the Maroons burn? Several plantations. Isn't that one of the reasons why the English decided to quit? Because it was no longer feasible to have these plantations in Jamaica being constantly attacked and burned by the Maroons.
Listen.
Is that a fact,
You're
sir?
right, you know. I agree. Listen.
Is
I
that
agree
a
to
fact?
you know. It is a fact.
Okay, all right.
But what I am saying is, them draw with themselves, and them draw themselves, and slavery continued.
Yeah, but
right. And if you know the history, the Maroons developed from the Spanish days. It's not since the English. The Maroons helped the English run out the Spanish 1655.
1655 under Admiral Penn and General Venables when the English captured Jamaica from the Spanish. Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Admiral Penn and General Venables led that attack on Jamaica?
I tell you the history, you know. Ask you,
you never tell me no name. I tell you who lead the attack.
The Maroons were in existence more than 200 years before that.
Where the Maroons came from, sir?
The Spanish bring them come. They started with escape from a Spanish slave, and them helped the English to defeat the Spanish.
When
I just know. I think the English.
But brother,
with the war with Jamaica, with Spain and England. You don't think my own fight at the war there?
No, I don't know that.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna ask. I tell you. Yes.
I know you may laugh, Papa. It's something in the chat room make me laugh. Sorry. No, man. No, that's why I make it clear to you. I know you may.
The Maroons were in existence from before the British arrived.
No, it's something in the chat room. Somebody write something in the chat room like that totally cracked me up.
Yeah, something stupid. Them don't know. Them must talk rubbish.
No, man, you don't know what the person writes, so not do that. No, try. No, try guess what the person
the agreement there. You know about the Taki Rebellion?
I know about the Taki Rebellion in what? 1760.
How we lose that?
Oh, we lose that?
No, I'm saying Maroon them as is English to capture the Virgin.
They said that. Hold on a little bit. They said that a Maroon shoot Taki with a musket, one shot. I wish part of Maroon they learn for shoot, sir. That's what the history said, don't?
I don't know what the man name. I mean, I forgot about to read a book there. No?
But the history said.
I'm not sure I said it is.
And the Maroon shoot Taki.
Them help the British to keep with a slavery.
I don't agree with that.
So, well, that is as a fact, they state because them sign agreement to keep with a slavery. So if you don't agree with that, it's your business.
Hold on.
But it's a fact.
Hold on a little bit.
They signed an agreement to keep we in a slavery.
No, they didn't sign that agreement. No.
That figure there, incredible.
No.
Yes,
The Maroon and the
no,
English.
there was
Hold
an
on.
agreement to keep it as slavery. Listen, no.
No.
Listen, they did not sign an agreement to keep it as slavery.
No, they did not. The Maroon
Okay.
signed a treaty with the
Oh,
English
okay.
after several war with the English. And remember now, the English had guns. Yeah? The English had guns a lot. The Maroon never really have guns like that. And the Maroon used their skill and ingenuity to keep the English at bay. So when the time come for the treaty, you know, things that the Maroon would have to give up something. You think the Maroon could have said, yo, we not give you nothing? What the English got.
I give your brother. I give you if them giant with the man then.
No, but you're gonna join with join with people.
Why did the English the English agree to sign in that treaty? Because them see them couldn't win the war.
Brother, you're gonna join with hold on a little bit, man. You're gonna join with a man who willing to be a slave and no one run when no one left. Why they all of them slave there? When the war between the Maroon, hold on. Are you aware? Hold on a little bit. Hold on. No. Hold on, man. Hold on. Are you aware that when the war between the Maroon and the English was going on, there were slaves that used to be in the English army hunting the Maroons? Are you aware of that?
Then why you need to sign an agreement? Return a man who don't want left.
Then if you are war, you think you want war every day, your people are dead, and the English come to a treaty, right. Why you wouldn't sign the treaty?
Because history is skewed.
Your history skewed. Right? You see, let me tell you something. Who write this history where you read? This issue where, hold on, this history that you're reading, who write it?
Is a fact.
Who write it? Who write it?
Who write? You ever read the treaty yet?
Clinton v. Black? Clinton, hold on. Is Clinton v. Black the man who write the history where you read?
Who write it?
Yeah, who write the history where you read?
Who write it?
Yes, the history books that you read. Who write them?
Who write the history you read?
I am not reading from their history. I have been schooled by the Maroons. No, me sit down at the foot of the Maroon them and school by them. Me read the one where they write. You see the history where the white man write? Me read that too.
Them own people, them go through the same thing. We'll see them go through.
Brother, I'm tell you.
Betray them.
Let me tell you something.
I never want to go further than that because I'm never discuss on board. Right now, me, because of something with me, studied years ago. So I have all of the facts of the memory. But let's go back to the present day. Let's come forward to present day, right?
Yeah.
What the Maroon town where talk about Curry?
Up a compound.
Yeah. So you're saying is that the JDF and the government do have no authority?
Never said that, sir. I never said that. I never said they don't have.
Not confused me now.
But remember, see, I'm me attack to you know.
And what sovereign mean? What sovereign mean?
Hold on. I don't know if you were listening to the program from the beginning. When I said I don't believe that a compound is a sovereign state, I don't agree with that. So, remember, say, me I talk to me. Now, you talk to me about what your next man say. So, me no believe, say, a compound is a sovereign state within Jamaica. No, that's not my view. But my view is that the Maroons are indigenous people. Their lands were granted to them in the treaty by the British. Hence, the Maroons in Jamaica don't pay property taxes. Therefore,
so the Maroons alone sovereign. So the Maroons alone indigenous to Jamaica.
I never said they are alone. I said that they are indigenous people. They are alone though when it comes.
Indigenous people outside space there.
You must listen, you know. Me never said the Maroon alone. Me never said them alone indigenous. But are the Maroon alone not pay property tax at Jamaica. No other group no have that right or authority. The Maroon alone have that.
Government honor the British agreement.
And the British gave the Maroon land as reparation. so they don't pay taxes. So therefore, they have some autonomy. Not that they are sovereign, but they have some autonomy because they have the colonel, all the Maroon colonels are elected by the people who are Maroons who live in their areas. So they have some autonomy. And that's why the Prime Minister went and met with Curry. If Curry never had no standing, the Prime Minister wouldn't go meet with him. So when the Prime Minister went and make him an offer, Curry is saying to the Prime Minister, out of your offer, we will take X, Y, and Z, but we don't want B. What wrong with that?
So why other people inside the same community say otherwise?
Because maybe they are still slaves.
Oh, they are slaves.
Me say maybe.
Okay, because
maybe.
my house blow off. Hold on, my house blow off. My house roof blow off, right?
Yes.
And the government said I'm come in, come repair it.
Yeah.
And to me accept from the government that needs to be a slave. That is your conclusion.
I said maybe, but hear this. Hold on. There are other areas in Jamaica that have been devastated. We don't see the army in there put on roof. Why the army not put on them roof there? Because what Curry is saying, we have manpower. Because a compound, Moortown.
Manpower from where the manpower is just park. What kind of manpower?
So give them the manpower. Oh, you mean when last you got a compound?
Then the man give them the manpower and refuse it.
We don't want the manpower. We want the material. We have manpower.
First of all, the man say the government are trying to militarize.
Yeah, and him no want that.
The space.
There's no need for that.
So Master Question, define militarize.
When you bring in the military and the military start do everything in your community.
No. That's get it wrong. That means military rule.
No, we never said.
Militarize mean military rule.
No, we never militarize. No mean rule by the military. You don't have to rule by the military.
Really?
No.
Wait, tell me what exactly. Give me the definition.
Maybe I need to look for the dictionary definition for you. But
them not come to assist, them not come to occupy.
But suppose you not believe that.
Occupation.
But suppose Curry not believe that.
Brother.
Curry not believe that.
Listen, half the story, but whether I want to believe or not, that's a same business.
Remember, said the Prime Minister. Hold on. Are you aware that the Prime Minister called a meeting? Are you aware? Are you aware that the Prime Minister had called a meeting with all the Maroon chiefs and excluded Chief Curry?
Him again. A compound.
All right, caller. Thanks. All right, caller. Give thanks.
When a crime is committed, a compound. Who them call?
They don't call the police unless it's extreme. Unless it's murder, they don't call the police. They have the authority to deal with minor crimes.
Dispute. That's about domestic stuff.
Stealing and all of them kind of something. They're going to murder them.
Just change that. Let's say a major crime.
Major crime, they call the police.
When people in a compound sick, which part them go?
No, the hospital.
Which hospital? In a Maroon town?
The public hospital. But
what I'm trying to tell you is,
so what is wrong with that?
We talk about slavery mentality. It's the same slavery mentality.
Anyway, my brother, I have you on for a very long time. Thanks for the call. I have you for a long time.
Divide and rule.
All right, Pod. I have you for quite some time now. 876-804-7072. Yes, caller. Good evening.
Mr. Bell?
Yes,
Good
sir.
Evening, sir.
Good evening and welcome.
A very lively and engaging topic, sir.
Yes. Love it.
I just want, and listener, thank you for reminding us that some black men were in the British Army hunting.
Yeah, man, they carry the slaves with them.
The same thing happened in America too, where many of the bounty hunters in those days catching the runaway slaves were black.
Yes, man.
And so I just want to ask you a few things that strike me. Now, and I'm just trying to be factual. Unlike you, sir, I wasn't enabled to sit at the feet of the Maroons, a little Kingstonian guy.
All right.
Anyways, I gather information here and there. I too read Clinton v. Black's History of Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
And I grew up in an era when there wasn't anything else but that.
There you go. Yes.
All right. Now we're in a different age and we have different bits of information that we try to put together to have a understanding of what took place since all of us weren't there. You will agree with me.
You break up a while ago. You're breaking up, caller. You're breaking up.
Sorry about that. I'm not even moving. Anyways, I wanted to say this to you. As part of the treaty, and after many wars, as you stated, with the British, the Maroons signed a treaty. But I'll say this to you, and I heard you kind of romanticize the Maroons by saying they were fighting for our freedom. Are you saying that, implying that you're a Maroon, sir? I just want to make sure before I go further.
Straight. Young Kunku picking it. Young Kunku no picking the boo.
So I take it that you're speaking of when you say fought for our freedom. You're talking the Maroons.
Yeah, man.
And I notice you know, some slaves didn't want to run away. They wanted to be. I'm not going to get into philosophical.
Of course, some of them never want. You have all the house slaves, you know, who believe that they were better than the field slaves, you know.
Yes. I don't want to really go down the philosophical argument and the, you know, the technical argument of what a slave is and what a slave isn't.
Yeah.
But I'll say this to you. The agreement that the Maroons signed, what it actually did, and this is what anger many people, and as that gentleman, and you can't blame the man when the man said that the Maroons are a traitor. Because listen, you're a Maroon, so you will think on the side of the Maroon. If you're not a Maroon, which that gentleman didn't say he was, that gentleman, and I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, you can come to that conclusion too. But what is significant to me though, Mr. Bell, after all was said and done, I'm noticing that these people who, you know, we from their African descent, and even the names, but why these people didn't maintain their African names?
Let me ask you a question.
Change their names.
Let me ask you a question.
You know, I don't hear nobody up there have the African names. So it tell you of a mindset.
Hold on.
You know, since the word here, it speaks of a mindset where, as one caller implied a while ago, after the treaty is as if the Maroons took the side of the British, hence they handed over Paul Bogle, and they also handed over Sam Sharp, who were advocating for the freedom and better treatment of the other blacks who weren't Maroons.
Caller, hold on. You see, you have to understand how the history was written and who wrote the history. Now, if you're reading history written by the slave masters and Bakra, you think that they are going to write history in favor of the Maroons?
No, the victor get to write the story.
And that is why we now have a responsibility to get the information. And I'm going to bring on Colonel Sterling one of these evenings, because him know the history better than me, because me learn a lot from him. You understand? And I have read the history books of Clinton v. Black and a whole heap more of them. I have read those. You understand? But then I have also came to the realization that who writes the story go and write it to suit their narrative. When you talk about, hold on a little bit. When you talk about,
Victor usually get the opportunity to write the story too.
Hold on. When you talk about Paul Bogle, yeah? The story said the Monday morning was choppy clear. when the men from Stony got drew near, clenching their sticks in their farmers' hands to claim their rights in their native land. How many mourn and many were dead that day when the vestry flame rose red. It was chopping and shooting. Hold on. And when it done, Paul Bogle and his men knew they had to run. They run for the bushes where they hoped to hide, but the soldiers poured in from Kingston side. It never said the Maroons. It said the soldiers poured in from Kingston side. They took their prisoners to Morant Bay, where they hung them high in the early days. Paul Bogle died, but his spirit talks. Anywhere in Jamaica where freedom walks, where brave men gather and courage thrill, as they did those days in St. Thomas Hills.
All right. When was that written, sir?
That poem is called Ballad of 65 by Halma Norman.
That
Anyway, I'm going to take our next call here.
Okay.
Give thanks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, people. We have to do more than just read the books. We need to find the elders. We need to find the elders. Talk to me, Mama.
A good night, Mr. Bell.
Blessings
Listen
and
to
welcome.
me. What part in Jamaica? Which part in Jamaica did you dig out the mine and everything? Which part again? Was it Westmoreland?
Where they do
They dig.
You mean the backside?
They dig out. Yeah.
The backside is done in Manchester, St. Elizabeth.
Right. I know
St.
that.
Anne.
To me, sir, I don't know history much, but all I know with Andrew is sell out, and he did something, so he got to get in the maroon land because down there they got a lot of mineral on the ground, and Andrew wants it. Andrew, why don't Andrew go and help with 6 parishes that get hit by the
But
by
Carla,
minister?
it's simply what Corey is saying. We have manpower up here in a compound. Give us the material, and we can put back the roofs.
Well, listen to me. As I say, the Trojan horse, right? Andrew wants to send in the Trojan horse there to overthrow the Maroons to do what he wants with the land. Go in there and dig up and find the gold and the mineral, whatever down in the ground. Andrew wants what in the ground. Andrew don't care about the people. Andrew don't care about no black man or what. Andrew just sell out. Andrew will sell his own soul. That's what we did to get where we want.
I don't know if it is a sellout, but that's your opinion. And let me just state it clear. That's the caller's opinion.
That is my opinion.
Yes.
Andrew sell out, right? Andrew is not nice. He's devious like a 2-headed snake. You hear me? Andrew know what he's doing. Andrew is there because he make an agreement with who he wants. Why don't he go in the 6 parishes that get hit with the soldiers and the police and help the bill? Why go to the Maroon land? Why? Andrew's a snake, a double-headed snake. I wouldn't trust Andrew just to look at him. I think the snake would come to bite me.
All right.
Look at him.
All right.
Anyway, good night, sir. Andrew's a sellout. That's all. Don't accept Andrew. But he's going to go in, though. He's going to go in with the force.
All right.
Watch and see.
All right, caller. Thank you. 876-804-7072. I definitely going to engage Colonel Worrell Sterling, who understand the whole thing about the Maroon. Because you see, there are some things that we must remember, When the white man write the history, him going write the history for the white man look good. And that are the first thing where Jamaicans must start look on and understand who write the books that you read. Marie.
Good night. Boy, Colin, I love this, Siobhan. Colin, you're saying the right thing. What people don't understand, the victors always write the story. You understand me? And the thing about it is that what people need to know, it was about 1,000. Just Google my best friend. It's about 1,000 Maroons who beat off about 10,000 people with their musket and them gunpowder and them thing, you know, Colin.
There you go. The Maroons never have guns a lot. The white men, the English had guns a lot.
And another thing too, Colin, listen to this. Everybody know when there is a war and it's a ceasefire, you have to give up things. In World War II or World War I, oh, you think England lose a lot of them territory? The Virgin Island and all of them thing there. Because when America going out, America, if I run out of war, we just a secret bit, Colin, just for history, just for context sake. When America did a sell arms, America never going out of war full-fledged, you know, till them bomb Hiroshima. But you want now, England did owe America and couldn't pay them. So America realizing the value of land. So we want the land there, we want the territory. I lie, may I tell?
No, you're not telling lie.
And that's how it is. The Maroons were not in a strength. Yeah, them have strength. Them have beat them. Them have burned down the plantation and the planters them. You don't say the planters them initiate the peace in our way too, because them say even couple governors come and want to take over with a bad man thing. Because I read somewhere them say when the luck we make black people. That's a paraphrase. A rule or no. And so the planters them get mad because they were losing.
Of course.
They were losing. Because them couldn't manage these black people.
It never no longer feasible to have the plantations being attacked.
Yeah, the people them say, look, we negotiate a kind of peace with them and you come mash up the thing. You understand me? So a lot of the planters, they wanted the peace because, and the part about, I think this is the part that rubbed us black people wrong when them said that they made a treaty to say to return runaways back to the plantation. In a end thing, you have to give up something to get something.
But you know what, Marie? When the Maroons used to burn down these plantations, they used to free a lot of slaves.
Yes.
Why they're not talking about that? How many slaves were freed by the Maroon when they attacked these plantations?
Exactly. And Colin, you know what happened to? Well, a lot of the slaves, when 1655, when the English attacked Spain, you know, and them couldn't manage and them run away, you know, a lot of these enslaved people ran to it because you had tainers and them people that are ready. Yes. Them the day and them come. Go ahead.
No man, go ahead. You continue.
Yes. And a lot of them did run away. And I saw the community started, you know. And you know the more towns Maroon got them, they got 1,000 acres, you know. 1,000 acre land enough land, you know, Colin.
Yeah, man.
They got 1,000 acres, you know. So people, everybody were in the war, them are gonna write it to suit for them things. Maroon men them couldn't read and write English. So they wouldn't be able to write the story. It has to be oral history. Like what you say, you still got a man put Colin and listen.
Yes, man. All right, Marie, thank you.
They couldn't write their story. So people kind of ease up off of them. They had to give up something to get what they had to. And go in there and divide and conquer thing.
And Marie, before you go,
yes,
the first set of treaty, Nanny was not in agreement with them.
No, she wasn't.
Nuts.
And you know, and even more, Colin, Andrew going there because last night there's an election coming up next year about February, and this is what Andrew is banking on, the divide and conquer thing.
Want to get out, Corey? Because I think even the demonstrations them we see up there are organized by politicians.
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Let me take some more calls here.
One more coming
yeah.
In the earthquake in 1907 that Kingston got hit, America was helping and they sent troops, and the English governor said, we want the help, but we don't want a troop in here. So what wrong if the man now say we want the help, but we don't want a troop? People need to read and understand.
Little more critical thinking is needed too.
Yes.
Blessings.
All right.
Wow. Maroon, take over the show. Yeah, man. Me a Maroon. Young Kunku Pikini. Look round me eye them round the block. Straight blood out of the maroon. In fact, my great-great-grandaunt died last year or year before last at 90 odd years of age. Buried in Moortown at the church. Yeah, man. So, when me talk maroon. And we have to understand how the thing pan out. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Yes, sir. Me again.
Quickly.
Well, me a maroon, you know. I don't have St. Elizabeth side and me come from in a magazine.
So you're a compound maroon?
Yeah, man.
All right, my boss.
Yeah, but the reason why this upset enough of the people, you know, is because Andrew go up there. And suppose Curry. Curry have sense, you know. Curry don't rush Andrew by telling him to go and no one the hell funny, you know.
No.
You understand? Regardless him not check for him or whatsoever.
Deal with him. And then
But the man keep it decent.
And then the Maroon Council met.
You
And said,
understand?
send with the material, we will find the manpower.
Of course, that's not reasonable, sir.
We don't want to seem fully reliant.
Right. That is reasonable.
Yeah. But
what's wrong with that?
Like when you get a bite of the cherry already, we're going to run because I want to talk to Obi about this housing situation here. Yeah?
Yeah, man. Why they upset? I don't show Andrew go up there. All right.
Blessings, my brother. Now, people, earlier at the beginning of the show, I played a clip with Marlon Morgan. And let me call Obi. Because you have a whole heap of bossy slave at Jamaica. Bossy slave them. You understand? And that's why they are controlled by the political directorate. Because they are set up bossy slaves and they not think for themselves. Conrad O'Brien.
Hey, Colin, what's going on? What's going on, Colin Bell? All is well?
Most things are good, and education is needed of the Jamaican people as it relates to the Maroon, and we feel like that we have some responsibility to bring on some of the elders who know the history and help them to disseminate the history of the Maroon. So one of the things that I am promising my listeners and viewers is to bring the colonel of the Moortown Maroon, Warrell Sterling, a man who know the history. And we're going to have him on one of them evening here, talk about the history of the Maroon, because some people in Jamaica are still slaves, Obi. Yeah, man.
All right, Colin, very interesting discussion, and certainly the history is really there to back up the conversation. Colin, I start off by just reading something here from Patricia. She is the person who ran for the PNP down there, that take in the Maroon area there, a compound. And it reads thus: the chief said he will use his people to do repair. Argument done. He made a mistake by accepting their invitation because we know their plan was to use the visit to create a divide and rule and disguise, right? So there are some other things that is coming from Patricia there. And indeed, Colin, when you flesh through the whole thing, it seems as if she is onto something. But I also want to just say this, Colin, as it relates to the whole Maroon episode and with Chief Curry. And I want our listeners and viewers to tell me if I'm making sense here, if I'm onto anything. Colin, I believe that the PM, the Prime Minister, and by extension the government of Jamaica, should be congratulating Chief Curry right now rather than vilifying him. And I tell you why I said, Colin. Chief Curry, in his wisdom, recognized that they have the requisite manpower that they can fix what they have there. All they need is the material and the help, that's said, but avoid which is the vibe of the army personnel coming. Colin, there are a number of other communities in Jamaica that cannot boast and say the same thing as Chief Curry is saying. So I believe that what Chief Curry did is to basically free up that those expertise and those manpower that
to go somewhere
army
else
will be bringing in there, to go somewhere else. So I believe that congratulations should be in order. And let me be the first to offer that congratulations to Chief Curry. Oh, very, very well thought out. And you know, sometimes, Colin, sometimes when you're in a meeting, and that's why somebody said, listen, even before they make certain decisions, they say, let me sleep on it first. Because when you get that opportunity to mull over it, then you basically see it in a broader term. And obviously, Chief Curry had basically looked over the whole thing and come up and recognize that, listen,
well,
as a thinking person.
He also said, Obi, he also said that the decision came after a meeting with the Maroon Council.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So and now the Maroon Council, for persons who are listening, let they understand that the Maroon Council would tantamount to the Maroon's cabinet, similarly to Andrew's cabinet that he meets with every Monday morning. Isn't that so, Colin?
Correct.
Right? So therefore, that's the situation. Today, Colin, a pastor, he was on my program, and he said that, listen, he is aware of somebody who have his leg amputated in a hospital in central Jamaica. The man's house got damaged, right? Badly. I think he said he has a 19-year-old daughter or something like that. And the hospital is forcing the man to leave the hospital. Now the man have nowhere to go because his house mash up. And I'm humbly submitting or suggesting that maybe the government could start there by even going into the hospital, do an audit of all the people that they're saying should leave the hospital and see what condition their house in, and therefore utilize the army personnel to get those houses back in a state of readiness. We can also stretch the argument, Colin, to include persons who are in shelters at some of our schools. That they're saying that, listen, they need the schools to start back. And indeed, we want the teaching and learning process to begin in earnest. But it can't be that you're moving those people out and throw them out on the street. And what Desmond McKenzie put forward as a solution, as I said to Marlon Morgan today, it's not a solution. To tell the people them say, boy, they must go try and look one house for rent, and they will help if it's reasonable. Which part of the houses them in them area where rent, Colin? Where are those houses?
I don't know.
It don't make any sense. You know, so the fact of the matter, Colin, is that one could say that the government seems as if they are caught with their pants down. And I'm going to say this ad nauseum, over and over and over again. This problem started, Colin Bell, viewers and listeners, the week before the hurricane at that parliamentary sitting, when the Speaker of the House literally shut down the parliament and shut down the opposition, so that discussion that should have taken place for Jamaica to be put in a state of readiness, it didn't happen, Colin.
You see, Obi, the government, with their short-sightedness and their politicization of every incident is what caused this, because it was pure politics that they were playing. And that politics is what stopped them from allowing pertinent questions to be asked. Sorry. Questions that could have helped to ensure that the planning went well.
Absolutely, Colin. And what happened? It backfired. But it's just a pity. It's really a shame. Or it's sad that that backfiring is not affecting them in terms of their living, because they're in their ivory tower, right? While the people continue to suffer. There is also a lady who I think she may be listening now because she listens to us, right? She is visiting from Georgia. I met her. She recognized me at the airport in Georgia. I think I was probably in just the day before nomination day. All right, and she come down. I think her daughter is a medical professional, and they're here in Jamaica with stuff. They journeyed to Westmoreland over the weekend. And you would see some of the pictures that I sent to you, Colin.
Yeah, man.
The people are saying it's the very first time that they are getting any relief, and they're saying that nobody from officialdom has visited them.
But it's just
so
like
all of these things.
It's just like last week, Obi. Just last week, Tuesday, we decided to touch base with some people in Westmoreland just to hear what is happening on the ground. And when I asked them if anybody had come to them to collect their data, the answer was no. But hold on, Obi, we have Auntie Dawn on the line. I want to hear from her. Auntie Dawn?
Yes.
Hold on. Auntie Dawn? Is me mute her? Auntie Dawn?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Auntie Dawn.
Hear me?
Yes, man. Loud and clear.
Hi,
yes.
Auntie Dawn. How are you doing?
Greetings to each and everyone. Kenan Obi. First time I'm sharing line with Obi.
Yeah.
Listen, I came on late on your program. It's like a lot of people have made space about the Maroon issue.
Yes.
And we have a tendency to like to just follow up on what the Europeans treat us. I heard one of your callers say the British could not have a treaty with any enslaved person, whether they're a slave or enslaved.
Right.
They wouldn't sign a treaty with them. You also made it known that the Maroon Wars made sugar uneconomical.
Yes.
And then you had persons coming on to talk about Taki War, Sam Sharp War. Yes, we had little rebellion, but the consistent wars were that done by the Maroons.
Yes.
And we can't take away that. And like you said, nobody's talking about how many slaves they freed enough for them centuries of war.
Exactly. I talk about contract, the treaty we signed said we will return some runaway slave. How many slaves we freed?
But another thing that nobody thinks, and I don't know, I don't see it documented, but then I don't read everything about Maroon. When you see where the Maroon communities are, a compound and the ones in like Moortown in St. James and those others, Moortown in Portland, Moortown, and when in Moortown they tell us that this where they are now wasn't the original.
That's not Maroon Town.
No, we have a Maroon Town too, and we have Flagstaff. Because Maroon Town, although it is not under the treaty, that is why it is known as Maroon Town also.
That is one in St. James, but there's a Maroon Town past Moortown and going at the hills.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, when you see where all of the communities, apart from Scotts Hall and Charlestown, the other Maroon communities in this modern day is so far to reach and tedious to reach. And I'm saying, if the British was fighting war and finding them up in those places, you don't think that some of the slaves them carry the British them up there?
It's not a thought.
It's not a thought. You don't think
They did.
You don't think some of the so-called the British them send some of the slaves them to go infiltrate
They did.
the Maroon community?
They did.
Yeah.
I am not a Maroon, but listen, the truth is that what you put it here, and Colin have been saying it, the freeing or of slave, the Maroon must basically take a big part of the credit for that, because the constant burning, and you just use the term there, that they make the sugarcane uneconomical. So they were basically chipping away at what was important to the British. So that's account for something in a big way.
Of course. When you weaken somebody, them are going to find if for them say if you can't beat who you join with. Is a type of thing, boy.
Good, because we can even lighten it to take, for example, a number of things that happen within the modern space of Jamaica, where your persons are out there and not having their way, and they find a way as to how to weaken the structure. So basically, they have to now be called to the table to do that. And right now in Jamaica is a lack of foresight. You know, the people don't understand the power that they have that can weaken the system, so that they have to be called to the table in a serious way.
Because we don't want to do it collectively, we want to deal with it individually. That is our problem, you know. We can't bother with, because do it collectively, you have to have the understanding, the strategy, and the patience to deal with it. You can't just, but we think that in achieving things as individual, it's going to benefit us. Because you know that we have a way that everything we get is like a big secret.
Yes, ma'am.
If we know that there is certain things happening that can be the community, and we know about it, it's big secret, we're not talking about it.
Yes.
Lots of persons who, when they benefit from the system, they hush, mom is the word. And so until we decide and understand that care what we do, individually, we're not going to cut it. Because trust me, the elite, them organizing, them not chat to one another, you know. When it comes to keep us in place, they are going to keep us there. So
absolutely.
Anyway,
you look at, for example.
Anyway, Obi, Antidan. Hold on, Obi. Antidan, I'm going to run because there's an issue I have to discuss with Obi before we close this evening.
All right.
Blessings.
Continue listening. All
Thank
right,
you, Antidan.
Obi,
all the best, Antidan.
When we just started out, I made the listeners aware of what happened on your program today. But right now we are way over 1,000 views, and we are asking everybody upon the platform right now to share up the live. Just go share it with somebody. Marlon Morgan came on to your program today, Obi, and
yes, he called him,
and he basically said something that I did not say. And even when you tried to correct him, he doubled down. And
he was wrong and strong.
And we want to play it again for the people and show them that labor rights and truth no have no lot nor part. And when the Prime Minister come out and talk about misinformation, labor rights are giving a lot of misinformation. In fact, I think they are the author of misinformation and lies. Listen to Marlon Morgan tell a lie upon me this morning upon Conrad O'Brien show at News Talk 93 FM. And listen to him sound when Obi try correct him. Listen to this, people.
Complete. The answer to that is no. Because contrary to what Colin is suggesting, that the authorities could go to a place like Melia or Trelawny Multipurpose Stadium where they have everybody in one place and just do the assessment. The assessment is not just the interview.
But you're spreading forward. Hold on. I host the program here, Marlon, so you're not going to call on Bob Britain. Colin said absolutely nothing of the sort. He asked a question.
I was listening to the discussion a while ago. He asked a question, And then he went on to indicate that if the government had people in a consolidated space, it would make the impact assessment in terms of gleaning information from people easier. Now, that may well be so, but the substantive point
because
is
and it's an opportunity that the government miss and continue to have. Hold on. Because it's an opportunity that the government miss and continue to have
My
the
brother, you
people.
don't even understand the point I'm going on.
I am saying
in the next 10 seconds,
Go ahead.
in the next 10 seconds, I'm going on to complete the point I'm making.
Go ahead.
What the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is doing through its JAH Dynaform, which is the Jamaica Household Damage Impact and Needs Assessment Form.
Hold on. So we don't want to listen to no more of the liar. Him say, the government should have bring the people them a Melea, which I call Braco Village, and the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium and do the assessment there. I said no such thing. Now, my people, let me play what I said about Malaya and the stadium, and I remind you, I call Malaya Braco Village. I am going to play what I said. Yeah? So I could put the lies to shame.
Put them at the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium, put them at Braco, and build the house within 2 to 3 months, because we have to spend to put them in a container house for 2 years. No make no sense. You have to forget them after. So don't do it. Don't waste the money. Put them where you have places can put them. These places that I just mentioned, they are both owned by the government of Jamaica. So those people who are still in shelters will have nowhere to go. Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium, Braco Village.
Absolutely, Colin. And as we close, this morning in my Conrad's take, I don't know if you listened to me, and I was saying that the voice of Portia Simpson Miller, Portia Lucretia Simpson, the most honorable former Prime Minister of Jamaica, was ricocheting in my head all weekend. And those 2 words were wicked and uncaring. I'm saying that is how Portia would be describing the situation so far, Colin. Can you imagine? After 6 weeks, we have not seen any semblance of the government moving in any shape or form.
One of the questions, there are 2 questions I'd love to ask the government. How many people you put shelter over them heads since this thing started? When I talk about the hurricane shelter, I talk about how much people you put a roof over them heads since the hurricane, and how many portable water stations have you set up over the last period of time?
Absolutely, Colin. And, this morning while driving to Broadcast House here as well, I got a call. And the person said to me that I should shed some light on it. And I may have to talk to the general manager at Mandeville Regional Hospital, Mr. Miller, because we understand that that's one of the hospital that they're saying that the people need to go home, and people need to come
to where?
Except it's going to be a police matter. There's one individual, understand, a gentleman who had an amputation. Gather he has a 9-year-old daughter, and his house have been destroyed. I am saying that the government should probably go into the hospitals, do an audit, find out who were there in the hospital that their houses have been damaged, use the resources of the army that they were sending to a compound that Curry is saying that they don't need it, and start the rehabilitation of those houses that can be. Is that a reasonable suggestion, Colin?
Very reasonable. The other question we must ask the government: has the data collection been complete? Because if the government not complete the data collection yet, it shows again that they are moving very slow. I spoke to some people from Westmoreland last Wednesday, and they told us live on the air that nobody has reached to them yet to collect their data. So, 6 weeks after the hurricane, finish collecting the data, it should be. You see, the government need to understand to use mass labor. Employ 2,000 people, put them in the year, and you don't collect that in 7 days. 7 days you should take to collect all the data. Or 98% of it should be collected by them.
So let me stop that. That is what I said about the collection of data. And the fact that we are talking about Marlon Morgan Obi, because I sent the tape to him and I asked him to apologize. So this is what he sent back to me. I was incorrect. You didn't say what I thought you said. You said send people into the area to collect the data more expeditiously. But as usual, it's easy to chat. If it were as easy as just to hire more people and send them into the area to collect the data, don't you think that would be done? No, I don't think it would be done because it's just easy. It is very easy. In this day of smartphone, you can send them in there. They take the pictures. You put the specific questions. And my suggestion was that you use teachers who are out of a job now because the schools are down. You use the people from the call center. You use the hotel workers and put them in the space. So I wouldn't bother going to read the rest, but that's what he sent back.
Yes. Colin, let me say this to you. The truth is that, you see, what this government do best, including Marlon Morgans, who is one of the chief proponents in basically carrying out these propaganda, is really to pat themselves on their shoulders and to say they are doing well. As I said to him today, the moment that they stop patting themselves on the shoulders and tell themselves that they're doing well and really engage with the real people, they will be better off and they will understand the layer of the land. People are suffering. It's a darn shame that going into week 6, 5 or 6, right? After Hurricane Melissa, week 6, right? There is not one house that the government can basically point to say, listen, they have started the rebuilding and rehabilitation process in these communities that have been battered. Instead of that, we're still hearing the government doubling down after all the experts have been saying, do not go the route of temporary houses and container houses. You know what they're doing now, Colin? They're including Marlon. They're using this fancy term. And my people, don't be carried away with this fancy term that is called module house. They are temporary house.
Obi.
When it makes sense.
Obi, it's not module house.
Yes,
it's mad house them. Mad house. Mad house.
So Colin, we will continue to inform and educate the people, Colin. As you say, over 1,000 people are right now on the program, and we encourage everybody to basically touch the like and share button. I am saying that come tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock on my program, straight up on New Star 93 FM, and indeed on the Conrad Obi, the Fireman YouTube channel, my special guest, my spotlight guest at 10:10 will be Richard Mullins, the president of the Builders Association of Jamaica.
No. Hold on. President of the Masters Builders Association. You leave out the Masters.
Yes.
The Master Builders Association, sir.
Yes. All right. Cool.
Yes.
Master Builders Association.
Yes. So remember to join Obi tomorrow morning, everybody. Obi, we're going to run. Big up yourself.
Respect, Colin. It's a pleasure. And give them a light.
Give them a light. Give them a solar light. Bless up.
All right, Colin. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. That was Conrad O'Brien, people. And let me tell you something. You see, on this platform, we don't just criticize. We give ideas. And Marlon Morgan look at the idea of employing a lot of people as too easy. You know, overthink the thing. You're overthinking it. It is simple. Bring in a lot of people and get the thing done out of the way. Collect the data so that the government can start giving assistance, tangible assistance to the people. Turn off the instrument in the background. I want to talk a little bit about the housing, because you see this picture I shown up on the screen. You see all them house there? 10 years ago up here, Matches Box did the right there, so. Maybe 12 by 12. And maybe I need to call Perry and ask him what size where those houses. This is Trelawney. When you do when you go on the bypass at Duncan's and you look up on that hillside, all those houses were little matches boxes. You see them now? Mansion. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, evening. How are you doing?
Good, good. Talk to me.
I want to stay too long, because your program is just too enjoyable and interesting for nobody talk. I want to listen. But
Thanks.
anyways, real quick, yeah, that place has stretch a road down in Trelawney. We remember when there was just one wall and just some zinc. Anyways,
Some
back
little
to-
box up there.
Yeah, man.
Matches box.
And one wall.
Yes.
Backtrack a little bit in your program. I heard some people come up with some things when you're talking about the Maroons because of the Curry issue. And a lot of people are misinformed and using their own little idea. A lot, man that was having an argument you were telling about people sell out and stuff. A lot of people do not understand. I had deeply, in the 70s when I'm going to high school, dug into history. And I was taught by some old people who got words handed down from people who used to live up in a place like Scottsall. And there's a place too called Sligoville.
Yes,
Where some of
Sligoville.
them people used to live.
Yes.
And I was told a couple of things. That one of the tactics that okay, first of all, let's back up first. The word maroon. You know what the word maroon suggests?
Runaway slaves.
No, set aside.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
As in discarded, but
That
in
too.
inaccessible areas.
Inaccessible. Yeah. So when them say
Yeah.
some areas are marooned.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
you
basically
can't
when I heard
reach
you
it.
talk about when I hear you talk about where the communities are these days, how set aside they were and strange. I had the opportunity, the blessed opportunity, my roots were.
Yes.
Of walking with troops.
Yes.
From Albion to St. Thomas. Check this, picture this, because you're from Portland. From Albion to St. Thomas to Millbank in Portland.
Yeah, man. You come up through Kuno Kuno.
Ugly.
You come up through Kuno Kuno Pass.
Kuno Pass. Dead man Peak.
Yeah, man. And you come up at El Shima Beth.
Colin, I walked through an area that we stopped. And some brethren can verify this. We knew these were places inhabited by Maroons. We saw stone walls and bits of pieces look like Patrick over there.
Yeah, man, because Nanny Town, Nanny Town, not Maroon Town. Nanny Town is not Moore Town, Nanny Town is about a day
Different.
walk
Set
from
aside.
Moore Town,
Yep.
Huh?
So, it goes to show that a lot of people still do not have the full grasp of what the Maroons are all about. And governments should have highlighted them, we should have broadcast them to the world, and the world see who they are.
And
I'm gonna tell you why.
Carla, one of my vision for Portland is to build a Maroon village in Mooretown, Maybe open up back Nanny Town and live the life of the Maroon so people can come and understand. That's one of my vision for Portland, to really build out a Maroon village.
I have an interest, I have a developing interest right now, and I'm going to talk to you that so I can give you a hand with it. But back to what I was saying, do you know that one of the reasons why I said that the government should have highlighted and put the Maroons on a worldwide platform and let us know about them? Think of the history. Did you know, based on what you were saying, that they had slaves trying to track the Maroons? Did you know that the British had imported people from Ecuador, they call them Mosquito Indians, to try to track the Maroons?
Yeah.
To try to help the British find them?
Yes,
And the British
I
couldn't
heard
find
that
them?
part of the history too. Yes.
And I'm going to bring you two more words where you will understand. Ambush
Oh,
was
Lord.
the order of the day for Maroons.
Then that we deal with pandem, man. Hold on. A Maroon first teach conceal and camouflage,
Not conceal and camouflage only. That's a part of the ambush. Guerrilla warfare.
All right.
Guerrilla warfare, if you're digging at the history.
That's the Maroon.
Nowhere else on earth was guerrilla warfare documented as effective because of concealment and camouflage, and another word, deception.
Yes.
Like the Maroons. The people who became Maroons, because when they came from Africa and landed in Jamaica, they already had a plan to listen. We're not bowing to nobody who trick us and grow us and tie us up.
Yeah,
and take
man,
us
we're
away.
not going to be.
First chance we get.
We are not going to be enslaved.
And I was told, this is handed down, I was told that when they used to hide up in places like Sligoville, because they come off of the plains and head for the hills, foothills. Sligoville, Mount Diablo and them places from the Loidas Field and Wandebolas Plains and stuff.
Yes.
When they went up to the hills and they came down, not only did they set the cane fields on fire, one of the things that terrorized the British and made them very afraid was the fact that The Maroons found herbs that they used to poison the wells.
Yes, yes. That was one of the things.
That
They
is
used to poison them water. Yeah.
Psychological warfare, and that is what brought the English to the table. One, you can't catch them because you can't find them, and two, when you try drag cannons and muskets up in there, man broadside you with ambush and blindside with bow and arrow and spears and stuff.
Yeah, man.
So the Maroons, I don't think they have gotten their full measure.
No, and then you have a
this
whole heap of Jamaicans. You have a whole heap of
Exactly.
Jamaicans are called the Maroons traitor.
With the misconception.
Yes.
With the misconception.
Yes.
Because they don't know enough about them. They don't know enough about them. And that is the reason, one of the reasons why civics and history in Jamaica, we have been lost on it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, real briefly, the government should seek to prop these people up.
Yes.
And I don't think what Curry did was wrong. I think it was a fair mention. Him said, give us the material, let us build it.
Yeah, man, we do
We're
it ourselves.
indigenous people.
But I carry the
And
army.
we have created ways and means. All of these places here were built by them.
Yes.
Let them fix it. As a matter of fact, if you want to do some good to them, because you should have been propping them up and giving them some mention, give them material so they can build new houses and all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that.
Little
what I'm
more, brother. I could talk again
So
because I'm
our
wrapping up.
yeah, man. Our people just need to educate themselves some more.
Yes,
Bless up,
man.
Colin, keep the show going. Lovely one.
Blessings, man. And who write the history is important. Never forget that. Who write the history is important. There's a question here. Hold on, I want to read this. Where it go? Oh, where is it? Somebody was asking why the colonels were called colonels and all of that. When I bring on Colonel Sterling, I will ask him those questions. This is my final call this evening because we're leaving. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Colin. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just want to say this whole thing with the Maroons thing, because I listened, and I think it's a complete distraction, right? From the reality of what's going on the ground.
Right.
So, right, you had these callers who were trying to somehow, make a case as to why the government should be in there. That's not the issue. That really is not the issue, right? The Maroons, we have known for decades, they have somewhat been independent and somewhat self-sufficient. And we should hopefully respect their decision. The question that those people should answer, why isn't the JDF in Darlaston, Westmoreland, or Black River, St. Elizabeth?
Putting on roofs, yes.
Right? That should be the question.
Yes.
Because they should be there. But you run into a compound, yeah, it's a little suspect. But I think the bigger question, because these people are bringing up history, and what I love with these people, Colin, is that they bring up history and it's very selective. So we're bringing up history 200, 300 years ago with the Maroons. But why are you not bringing up history 40 years ago under Edward Seaga, under the 1980s when he was borrowing monies from the IMF and could not, and produce information as to what he's doing with those loans and defaulted on those loans? So right now, the Jamaican government has to go to the IMF for 6.7 billion. This is the question. 3.6 billion is secured and the rest is not. The rest is through private. And this is what the Jamaican people need to ask themselves, right? So if we borrow 3.6 from the secured, 2.4 is, correct me if I'm wrong, Colin, that is private to private.
Private to private.
So
and that's why GPS is getting $450 million from that 2.4. Private sector to private sector. And that's why we say that the government of Jamaica has already extended JPS license and have not told the people. I hope they tell us tomorrow in the parliament.
Okay, thank you, Colin. Thank you. These are the real questions that needs to be answered. So these other guys that are talking about the Maroons 200, 300 years ago means nothing, because they're very selective in history.
Because
they will bring that.
There's another piece of history that they need to ask about the Coral Gardens. When Bustamante is a kill all Rasta, bring them in dead or alive.
Right.
If the station can't hold them, the cemetery will hold them. Somebody find Junior for me. Want to Junior down a Mobile. I don't hear from Junior since the hurricane.
Thank you. But you notice they never bring those up. They keep those quiet. They go like way back. And I'm like, okay, it's the Maroons. Like, what don't you understand? They came on the island as enslaved, but they weren't slaves. They left, they ran off.
Yeah, man.
They don't even understand that it was the Maroons who helped encourage Haiti, the Haitian slaves.
Yeah, man, one Jamaican Maroon go over there name. When name again? What kind of man? Oh, come on, Brain. Remember me.
Come on. Like, and so they bring this up and they're like, oh, they put us in stuff. No, you have no idea what these Maroons have done for the region, not even just Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
So this is where I feel that these folks who are calling in and trying to argue about this, I feel that they're trying to distract from the real issue. What they need to figure out, okay, what are the concessions that the government of Jamaica will have to do for that $3.6 billion US dollars?
We need answers. That is where we need some information and some answers, caller. That is where. But Ralston told us, that all IMF loan, World Bank loan, they are concessional loan. So now the Prime Minister come go and like say, something new, nothing new. But
nothing is new. I work in investment banking.
But
Colin,
tomorrow we'll bring on Al Ralston.
Yeah, if you come to borrow from my bank, we are going to give the terms to you.
Of course.
Jamaica is the borrower.
Yeah, man.
Jamaica is not the lender.
Hold on. You want to hear about slave? The borrower is a slave to the lender.
Slave lender. Okay, thank you, Colin. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just want to call in to just say that because I was listening and I heard those two callers and I was getting heated and I'm like, okay, these people may not understand history, but they may, obviously be of the other side and they may have an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
But what they really need to think about is what are you going to do, Jamaica, at this point in time with $6.7 billion in loans? And let me tell you that 2.4 that's private, that's going to have the highest concessions. I will tell you that for a fact. You will have the highest concessions.
So
with those 2.4.
So JPS going to deal with the case. But we have to run, Carl. I want to thank you. Call me back tomorrow evening.
All right,
we'll be live again.
Colin. Thank you. Keep up the great program. Blessings.
Thank you. Hey, listeners and viewers, let me tell you something. Labor rights. Call the government. Call your prime minister. Call Robert Montague, Bobby Montague. Tell them not bring no trailer house here. This is a area that appear matches box they did. The Jamaican people got a starter house. And this is what they have done with it. Remember me tell you now. Pure little matches box. And I'm going to try find a picture of this place here 10 years ago. And show you what it was. Maybe 12 by 12. Some little something when you see them up on the hillside there, I wonder somebody really living at them there. This is what they are now. So if you give Jamaicans a starter home, They will take care of themselves. I want to thank everybody for spending the time with us this evening. Thanks to all the callers. We didn't do Talk Jamaica yesterday morning, so we're giving another program here for talk. But those of you who have read the white man history, you need to do some research and hear the black man side. There's 2 and 3 sides to every story. And we have to get the full understanding. I am of Maroon descent. So therefore, I make it my point of duty to find out the history of the Maroons. We want to remind you that when you're planning to send any gift or any stuff down a west, give them a light. Give them a solar light. Yes, man, that Trelawney place, if you have one of them old picture there, when they host them did a little bit, send it to me, I want it. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you all. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace, now and forevermore. Until we meet again tomorrow evening, God bless you. One love.